Good evening, Twitch. Welcome back to session 7. Can you believe it? 7 sessions of our fantastic cooperative world building stream. And I keep saying this, but we sort of transitioned to a campaign planning stream now. We've come so far along the world building that we're now planning the whole campaign together, starting with session 0. I am Roos Pliz, and as I just said, this is a cooperative world building stream. Well, that's how it started out. We're all here to grow and learn as D&D players by thinking about some of the things that D&D DMs do, right? Whether you're a player or a DM, the intent is that we should be able to grow together just by focusing on the game. And this is like an open space to discuss the game that we all know and love together, right? So I want to put that out there first of all. I always say this every stream. If there's anything you want to talk about, if there's any big topics that are burning inside of you that you want to talk about, just drop it in the chat. And we like to do things a little bit, off kilter here, and we'll just stop what we're doing. And if there's something worth discussing, we'll discuss it. So a little recap for anyone who's potentially new. We've been working together to build a D&D campaign setting, which is in this document here. If I throw a command in the chat, there should be a link to this Google Doc that you can go and look at. I've tried to keep things organised. So we started with nothing, right? Everything in this world's our own. We started with religion, and we decided how the world was created some deities, and then we started to populate it with a society. We talked about different races, and like a hierarchical structure for. We're a kingdom. Okay, we'll get to that. But we planned out like a power system in the world that we live in, and then we started to look at some of our smaller settlements. We started to look at a few settlements closer to where the players are going to begin their campaign and flesh them out a little bit. We even dotted in a few colourful NPCs into the campaign setting for our players to interact with, and so here we are now. We've got to a point where we've done as much planning as we need to do, in my opinion, to be able to think about actually running this campaign. There's loads of things that we haven't looked at, but as one of the things that I've been saying all along is, as a DM, we don't need to think about everything in the world at the start. We don't need to think about all the minute details about who's going to live in a city that's like hundreds of miles away from where the players are going to start their campaign. We can have a rough idea of what's going on over there, and then fill in the gaps later on when we need to. So we've got to this point now where there's enough of the world that's created that we can start thinking about campaigns, and we are starting by working together on planning a session 0 for our campaign, which I'm going to run at a later date for a group of people, and hopefully. And that's the plan is to film that, and we're going to do like a little Q&A with the players live on stream, so they can get some feedback on how they think it went. Right, so that should be fun. So that's kind of got you up to speed. If you want to know the more intricate details of the world, that document is we keep that updated, and you can always click and have a look at that. It's worth noting that things are color coded. Haha. These green things that I'm flying by here are things that we've named. So we've decided on a name for this settlement. It's called Eastshire upon Avon, right? And it's governed by General Hardcastle. But you might find that there are blue things, like the capital city, that are yet to be named. And we kind of leave that open to people who are joining in who want to name things. And you can come and suggest them whenever you want, right? If you've got a name for a lot of our deities aren't named, just drop a name in the chat and we can talk about it and name stuff. I thought that would be fun for you guys to name things that aren't yet named, right? You can have put your little stamp on our world as we go through it. So last week, to bring you that's kind of an overview of where we are, and to bring you right up to date with where we are, because we're at 10 minutes now, which is 5 minutes post the intro thing. I'm trying to trim this down because I tend to waffle on. So last week 2 weeks ago we had a big old discussion about session 0 and what session 0 is and why we're going to run a session 0 for our campaign. It's brilliant. Go back if you want to look. Haha. Twitch things, if you check our YouTube, you'll find all of the videos of our previous streams there, and you can go and watch them and catch up if that's what you want. And that particular session 5, we had a big old discussion about session 0, which is a preliminary, like an introductory session to the campaign if you've never done one before. But there's I describe it in great detail there. So go back and watch that. It was great fun, and I suggest you get yourself caught up with that, because it was a very interesting discussion we had. And then so after we'd gone over the many and varied merits of session 0, we put together a checklist of things that we wanted to have ready for our players. So that includes some expositions and things that we wanted to talk about with the players. It started with an introduction of me or you as a DM to the players, and then some exposition about the campaign setting we built. And we want to give our players some handouts and things as well. And since then we've been working on that list. So last week we actually had Pontus Godsworth, if he's in the chat, came up with a haiku for us as by means of giving our players a little taster of some of the flavour in the campaign, in the setting. And we had and we went over the DM intro, which was more kind of I wrote the intro to be specific for me, but we talked about the things that you would put in from your perspective if you were to do the same thing. So a quality haiku. I completely agree. It was so I wasn't sure where we were going to go with it, because I have a tendency to overplan things, and I'd thought about in the week leading up to it, writing some descriptive text to have ready for the stream, and then I decided against that, because the whole spirit of what we're doing is to have everyone engage, and we all maybe push ourselves out of our comfort zones a bit, and we all learn that when we do that, it's not as scary as you might think outside of that circle. So I decided to go at it completely naked, right? I just had no plan whatsoever. And then Pontus Godsworth came in with a quality idea of having a haiku, and kind of blew what anything I would have done out of the water, I think, because I would have had a tendency to write a paragraph of not very capable descriptive text, right? And that would be a few minutes of exposition where I'm talking to the players and feeling a little bit anxious because it's the start of the campaign, and maybe not performing as well as I would want to and stuff, and maybe not getting the feel of the campaign across to our players as well, because that's what it's all about. And in a few very short lines, Pontus delivered. In fact, that's all it's in our document. Spearpoint Garrison stands to attention in the east. Under the imposing fort sits a town destitute. Now change is afoot, not a moment too soon. Impoverished citizens start to dream, but a loyalist core remains. Remember the past, but look to the future. In the Senate we must believe. Decisions are left unto you. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Chills down my spine, right? So very briefly, for anyone who's not kind of keyed into the story, we decided really early on, actually, it was quite good, quite a good team effort. We decided really early on that as a central tension to our story, we were going to have so the where the campaign's set, the region is a kingdom, and we decided that hundreds of years ago, some time ago, the kingdom was taken by force and is ruled over by a human monarchy, and everyone sort of lives under the regime kind of thing, and that recently a Senate had been put in place, and power was slowly transferring over to the Senate from the king. And we've got our cunning, devious king, who's very pretentious, Reich Flairford. He kind of not. He doesn't rule with an iron fist. He kind of rules leaning backwards in his chair, because he sees the power shifting over to the Senate and doesn't believe that that's something you should be concerned about, because because he's the king. Why should he be worried? So we've decided that idea of like there's a possibility of like a civil war always in the background. We kind of decided that was going to be a central tension of our campaign. And as our players arrive in our starting town, there's this fort, this Spear Point garrison is currently managed by a loyalist force that answer to the king. And as our players arrive, it's kind of in the process of being taken over by some Senate forces. So that's what that haiku is about. And it's quite a nice, very creative intro. It's not something I've ever thought to do before, but it's delightful. So that's that. And this week, the plan is to start out the week by drawing a propaganda poster. I had this idea that we'd have a poster that the players would see all over town that maybe is designed to explain the transition to the townspeople. And then if we're playing in person, then we can get that printed out and hand it to our players as like quite a nice little handout that's packed full of information, whether they know it or not, about the takeover, because it's going to be an important thing, and we don't want to over explain stuff like that to our players. So the handout's just like a perfect way of doing that. So yeah, that's the plan this week. So we're going to start by drawing a poster, and if we finish that, then we'll sort of move on to some of the other things that we've got. I've got some other ideas of like physical handouts that we can do. So that's the plan really. But so from here, what we normally do, again, if you're new, what we normally do at the start of a session is we kind of open up to the chat, see if there's anyone who's had any like inspiration over the past week. And normally, so the main purpose of this little segment is to allow anyone to throw any names our way if they've decided they want to name a character or a place or whatever. But it's not strictly tied to that. Like it's a good point for like if anyone's got any like burning questions they want to ask, or if they've got like something about the story that they want to suggest or what have you. Now is like a good time to just put anything out there. We field questions throughout the stream, so don't feel pressured to say what you've got to say now. It's just a nice open forum for everyone at the start, so that they don't feel like they've got to interrupt later on, which is absolutely fine. But some people might feel a bit nervous about that. So what normally happens is if I'm perfectly honest, is I've done the intro bit now, and I'm feeling a bit more comfortable than I was when I first started. So now I get to sit back and I drink a bit of coffee, because I've got that like nervous dry mouth going on, and chat will just say what they got to say, and I'll react, and then we can once we've had our fill of introductions, then we can move on to the drawing this week. Normally it's not drawing, but this week it's drawing. That's really hot though, so that's got to wait a moment. So while I'm waiting, see if there's anything that anyone wants to discuss, I can move over here, right? Turn off. Yeah, sweet. Oh, he knows how to use OBS. I kind of want to have like a preamble to this drawing malarkey. As I've said extensively now, the whole purpose of this stream is to give people a place to talk about D&D, really. And my intention personally is to use it as a vehicle to promote people playing D&D and to help myself as a DM learn. Right, it's an experience we can all discuss together, and hopefully everyone can take something away from the experience, myself included. One of the things that I want to talk about is, let's go back. So the idea is that we're building a campaign together, right? Whether you use that campaign yourself, which you have access to the document, you could run this campaign yourself in the future if you wanted to, or you're just going to use this as an experience that you can use to like gain insight into the process. It's all experience, I suppose, so that we can all get better at our craft, right? And one of the things that I want to avoid doing is putting people off, right? I want people to watch this and think like, oh yeah, I could do that. And I think we've done that. Like the past 6 sessions have been great, where I've probably done like less than 30% of the work on the world we've built. Like it's all come from chat, and it's come from people who maybe haven't considered being a DM before, but now realise that they've got what it takes, right, to do the job. It really isn't as big and scary as it might seem at first. So I want to just like give that accessibility to people, make people realise that like anyone can do it. And I'm a little bit conscious of drawing, like I want to draw posters and stuff because that's something that I would do for a session, and it's something that I think anyone can do. And I guess I want to emphasise the fact that anyone can do it, and I don't want people to think I'm going to use an iPad and Procreate to draw a poster. And the last thing I want is for anyone to think like, oh, like I'd have an iPad or a way of like drawing a poster. Like I'm going to use this stuff because it's available to me. I wholeheartedly believe that a really bad 2D sketch on a piece of A4 lined paper that's handed out to your players is just as good, right? Your players are going to appreciate that you've put the effort into creating something physical to give them. So don't worry about it. I really wouldn't let that be a deterrent from doing this kind of thing. Like get your Crayolas out, get your wax crayons out, and draw like you're 4 years old again. It's not. Let's name the Valkyrie god, demigod Sigrun. The Valkyrie one. Who was that? I'm going to go back. I'm going to transition back. Do we not have the chat? Hang on 1 second. Let's yeah, okay. That's going to be all over my drawing a little bit, but that's fine. Although I could put it over here. Let's do that. Happy? Happy? That looks good. We've seen the map a million times, so we can talk over the map. Was our Valkyrie the Asimar? No. Who was our Valkyrie one? Quite near the top. Halfling, Dragonborn, Tabaxi. She's a dwarf. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. Sigrun. I love it. And that's how you get a name into the. It really is that simple. Have you got a? What's the inspiration behind that name? Or has it just come out of Robbie B's skull? It's not ringing any bells for me, and I might have just embarrassed myself, but thinking on the elf one. So yeah, so the elves our elves are like seafaring, almost pirate-like characters. Like we've written in that that elvish not arrogance, but their lack of association with the more mortal races. They're kind of pirate-like in our it's Old Norse for victory, I believe. No, yeah, not Norse for dwarves. It's like perfect marriage. I like it. I don't think I might be reading into it here when you said thinking on the elf one. I don't know if you're suggesting that I don't know if you were doubting yourself that it should be the elf one. I completely agree that it should be the dwarf one. It sounds good to me, especially if it's like victory, right? That's a more dwarven thing, right? I think. I don't think the elves are particularly concerned with competition, are they? I think they just believe themselves to be they believe themselves to be better than the other races without maybe admitting that that's the way they feel. So So I'm with you. Cool. That's one more name down. You know. I think then we might come to a point over the next couple of weeks where we just sort of go like all in and just have like a half an hour session at the beginning or the end of a stream where we just go through and name all of the stuff that's not named. And like I kind of get this like we want to leave stuff open for like people who maybe are just joining today to name. So like I don't want to just name everything, but I also am aware that we will get to the point where I'm running the session 0, and I can't at that point I want to have names for everything. Although it might be the case that I just like if I give everything a name and tag it a different color, right, and just sort of say like this is the name I gave it because I had to have a name for session 0, and then feel free to overwrite them because I named a lot of stuff and I still want to leave that open to other people. Got a janitorial lad who needs a name, yeah, so good one, Robbie B. Thank you very much. Thanks for contributing. For those of you who don't know, Robbie B is our sole moderator over here. It means that he's been dubbed the fastest mod in the West because we've seen some things, man. We've seen some things, and we've seen this guy react like a bullet. Like a bullet out of a loaded gun. This man will moderate, So I guess that's it. I guess that's our preamble out of the way. Well done, team. High five. And that leads us to the task of drawing, right? And as per normal, I've come at this completely fresh. I don't have a specific idea for what I want to be on this propaganda poster. So I'm hoping that someone in chat will have some ideas. I will come up with ideas, but gonna let you guys jump in if you've got anything. Because for anyone who's who's played Fable 3, I had the idea whilst watching my partner play Fable 3 because it has these amazing all the loading screens are like these propaganda posters, and it's a very steampunk feel to it, Fable 3, which doesn't really apply to our world, but the general like theme of these posters are like very good, and it's kind of what I've got in my head, and it kind of plays into like I want to keep this basic because I don't want to give anyone an idea that you need to be a classical artist to create this kind of material to these players. Oh, so it's so do you want this to be a pro like a loyalist poster? Because like totally open to ideas. Like my original thought was that it was going to be like a Senate thing because I thought like my original idea was that it was going to be a Senate poster that's explaining what's happening with the takeover and how like don't be alarmed. This is what's going to change. If you've got any issues, you now need to speak to this guy instead of this guy because he's in charge of the garrison now. But it could be like a loyalist one, and if that was the case, like so if it was a loyalist one, I feel like it'd be more. Propaganda is usually the products of the biggest funded party. Well, I think Birth like would have propaganda, right? But I feel like the king, because does the king care what the people of Sunnybridge think? Right, is kind of my only real like objection to that idea. I feel like so feel like if there would be propaganda that's loyalist, that would be made by loyalists who live in the area. Like, I don't think they would have come. They would have come from a printing press in the capital and been like carted down to. Like, I'm not shooting your idea down. But yeah, I'm spitballing here. I think if we we could very well do a poster that's a loyalist one. You maybe have immediately touched on a point that we should be doing both. And that if we do a loyalist one, I think it should be like a proper, like a picket style, like painted on, using the materials that are available to maybe squid ink, right? Using the materials that are available to the people of Sunnybrid. And like, I don't think he's got a name yet, but our innkeeper, who's real patriotic and loves the kit. But then if we're doing that, what if we if we were doing that, what if we just made a poster? What if we just made a poster and then graffitied over it and gave that to our players? We haven't named the capital yet, but like the capital could still be, like, we could still say the capital, right? The capital needs you. You really want an Uncle Sam poster? That's fine. Livelia Graysonvale, like that's the name of the lady's, like the deity, right? The lady is like our Voltron, right? Our Voltron deity, the lady. Yeah, why not? That came out of nowhere, but yeah, nothing screams bigger propaganda than the old school X wants you. I'm gonna pick up my pencil. The capital. Jorvikalia. Why is that funny? Oh, he's like get real suspicious. Oh right, because of actual real life Jorvik. Jorvikalia. Capital. Right, let's do this. Looking for a square bracket. Only the capital remains. Only Jorvik. I'm changing it a bit. Jorvikea, right? Just to remove a syllable, right? Jorvikea, and it's a y. It's a y. Capital. There's still more capitals. Yeah. Jorvikea. And everyone who's not been there calls it Jorvikela. And then that like really obnoxious guy goes, it's Jorvikea. Come on. You don't pronounce the L. Cool. Fantastic. Oh, you didn't see any of that? I just edited the thing. I edited the for realsies. And now we've got the chat box has moved back. Cool. Get over here. And you can be a bit like, no, not that. You can be a bit, it's alt in it. But I've got to do it the other way, I think. Nope, not that. Anyway, moving on. We'll put it at the top because then you can see Sunnybrid below it. You know? Sunnybrid. So we want to. So Robbie B wants the capital needs you poster. But this one wants to be like real, like raw and edgy because it's like been locally made. It's not been made by like I feel like the Senate will have created no space, but the Senate would have created like proper propaganda and like got it printed properly. And remember West. What's the Western city called? West or something. You don't even remember your own damn world. I said it earlier. Westberg, right? Yeah, I know. It's autocorrect. F in chat. That's a good point though. For anyone else who's new, you know, there's you can find fun little Easter eggs in the chat by typing commands in of things that are named. And please don't try the ones you added last week because I haven't remembered to add them. The Royal Rumble, Muddy Trails, Russellmania, sorry, and the Tattered Veil. I don't think have been added, so please don't. I will do it. I promise. I'll do my homework. Yeah, I think so. Westberg's like an artisan's like paradise in it. So I think like they'd have really good access to like artists to get proper. I'm sorry, Ruby. I'm sorry, Bliss. Yeah, they'd be well into like getting like more quality artistic stuff done and then getting it printed properly and sent out. So I think like this is going to be. I think this is going to be like a more. I'm going to pick this up, I think, today. Because if I lean down here to draw, you can't really see. Not that anyone's here to see my face or the top of my hairy head as a sketch. But where's my glove? Thanks, by the way, Rob, for suggesting drawing a person. Mind you, I have done. I can steal some of my own work. Here, look. I painted this. But for anyone who's not from the UK, it's our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. So I don't have to start from the beginning, you know. I will start from the beginning though. What's going on here? We like stopped. That's bizarre. That's a bizarre time for you to. Hang on, my screen's frozen a smidge. We're good. Right, so I can use this look. So that I don't have to embarrass you by trying to draw a person from scratch. Right. Let's get a nice sketching pencil. Yeah, and we're not gonna talk politics, but it was a politically inspired piece. So let's get a nice. What the heck? What the heck? Let's get a nice opaque brush. Right. So like the thing with drawing is you're gonna have to like, you know, hopefully chat can somewhat entertain themselves a little bit. Maybe now's the time to come up with a big chat. You know, if there's anything you want to, if there's anything you want to discuss that we can discuss as a group in chat, now's the time. Because the problem with this format is, especially if I'm drawing something like as complicated as a human, yeah, I'm gonna have to concentrate a little bit on drawing, which is like which is kind of a negative, right? I'm sure as I get better at streaming, I'll be a lot better at keeping you all engaged while I sketch, right? So, what kind of hat? What kind of hat would is this going to be Reich Flairford himself, or is this going to be like a? Or is this going to be like a? Want to become famous? No, thank you. I'd hate that. Fastest moderator in the West. He's got fingers like pistols as our Robbie B. We're gonna be like a. Is this gonna be like a proper like lapelled jacket? You know. We don't want to be too like. We don't want to be too. We don't want to be too like. What am I trying to say? We don't want to be too true to like the original because we're referencing something that's like outside of our world, right? We don't want to like. We don't want to draw too much inspiration from. You think it should be Flairford? Does he? What kind of hat would Flairford wear? Also, like, we do still want to keep this kind of like. We do still want to keep this kind of like. What am I saying? We do want to keep this kind of scruffy as well, don't we? Because. Oh yeah, of course. What kind of hat does the king wear? Robbie B with the hot take crown, he says. And like, I think our boy Flairford is like a proper, you know, this like kind of like fluffy bordered, right? Yeah. Got to have that like fluffy headband on it, right? Yeah. With the like the black and white spots. And that's going to sit over his eyes, which I quite like. It's too big for him, but he's too stubborn to admit it. So we might just copy Berger. He's gonna have a like. I don't actually want to be sketching anymore though. I don't want to get like a really thin ruche. Not thin enough. Not good enough. Probably comic wrong. Very regal. Yeah, I don't know whether to trust what you mean when you say regal, right? You're probably having my eyes out right now. He's gonna have that very strong jawline, right? Unlike our Berger. This is gonna look awful. You know what? That wasn't that bad. And I've abandoned it. That was very nearly it. There we go. Look, we're getting somewhere. And then I need to be back on here. Tell you what, this feels like a lot of pressure. I've put myself under a lot of pressure here to draw in front of people. This is actually horrible. He's gonna have like a nice. He's got to have a nice like bulbous, big old bulbous nose. Yeah. Like one of them bad boys, yeah. And then we're just going to shade it under here a bit, right? Bit of shade under there. That chin looks horrible. Moving on, right? So let's do his crown because I'm more comfortable doing his crown to start with. How has everyone's weekend been? You know, that's something I probably should ask. If we're light on things to talk about. Do you know what we're missing? We're missing Pontus Godsworth, right? This has been a Pontus Godsworth-less affair, and that's why it's quiet. We'll have to let him know next week that we missed him. Other spoilers, I can let him know tomorrow night because I have some good news for everyone who's watching, which probably isn't going to be great news for you, but it's good news for me. We're able to start playing football again this week. Tomorrow night, I shall be playing soccer. Would you believe it? Kicking some real good soccer about, which I am 100% looking forward to. It's been way too long. This looks a little bit jestery. How can we make it less jestery? Let me just. What it is I'm drawing without reference, which is something that like you should never, which is something that nobody ever actually does. As much as people like want you to believe that everything comes out their head, there's nothing left. You know, crown. What does the crown? What does the emoji look like? Oh yeah, I've got The Crown TV series. That looks quite good. Quite like that. I do quite like that. That is. Whew! I could just steal. Not steal. I could just copy stuff because this is like, you know, we're doing this for like recreational stuff, but like I haven't actually drawn in ages, and that's a bad thing. So we're gonna try and like draw something today. Oh yeah, that's not gone horribly, you know. Not gone horribly whatsoever. We are going to have to resize this though, because it's not. We are going to well overshoot the centre. And if there's one thing we know about our boy Wright Flayford, it's that he would want his crown to be nice and square on a picture of him. He's not a humble man, you know. He's not a humble man. Let's neaten this up a little bit. I'm also kind of conscious of like, I feel like I'm making excuses now, and I'm not. I'm just kind of conscious of taking too long. We actually undershot the middle. Would you believe it? Delete that then. Let's like make this a bit bigger. Right, and then duplicate, and then flip it. I need to get back away. I can't see what. Just make that bit look a bit more fluffy. We could add some bling in there too. Yeah, for sure. Like, don't worry. This is an outline. You worry about floof and stuff. This is just. Yep. There we go. we're just getting an outline down that I can like work off. Please don't. Cool. I'm taking this way too seriously for now. I feel like I need you to tell me it's okay for this not to be like great, because like I put a lot of pressure on myself for no real reason, you know. Cool, 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 cool. Where's my for an outline? I'm enjoying it. Satisfying to watch. Yeah, fine, mate. Yeah, that's what I need. It's just a little bit of like, you know, this isn't a bank job, you know. I'm literally, the purpose of this is to tell people that like anyone can do it. So if it were to look too good, then we'd have problems, wouldn't we? Yeah, we're outlining. I have this tendency to like do way too much detail on like an outline. Let's have this let's have this. Let's have this like hand in a pocket, you know. He's a casual kind of king, isn't he? He don't really got lots to worry about. Does our boy Flairford, right? That is a skinny arm. Can't be having that. I never really got an answer. How was people's weekends? I kind of know how Erafina's was because we've been sorting Pokemon cards. So good is the answer to that question. Yeah, that's awful. That is awful. You know, it's awful, but we're gonna roll with it. I don't think he ain't got wiry elbows, is he? Like, as arrogant as he is, there's kind of reason for it, you know. Like, he's a strong boy. Is our Reich Flairford. He's never been bested in single combat, which is quite a feat, you know. I don't know why I'm not just using this image, to be honest. I don't know why I'm just made the king look like Berger. But it doesn't really make sense because he's far too strong for that, isn't he? He's far too like. Good weekend, man. Been big chilling. Started Resident Evil today. Which one? The original. My weekend has been like super chilled out, to be honest. So chilled out, I can't even remember what I got up to. So we've been doing the big Pokemon sort today. We've got a lot of Pokemon cards, and they're like somewhat organized, which is like not how you want your Pokemon cards to be, I guess, right? You want your Pokemon cards to be organized, not somewhat organized. So we've just been like tackling a bit of that today, which is fun, but it's also like really tiring. I think it might have been a mistake to do it before streaming because it's like you're just doing a lot of like reading small numbers, and it's one of those little things that like it took us you out. Gosh darn it, a darn sight more than you'd expect it to as well. So Probably won't be doing it next Sunday. I think there's like a need to chill out a bit before a stream because the best kind of beach. So you aren't aware of it today. You should be real proud of me this week because there were so many technical difficulties. Like 6 minutes before I went live, the iPad wasn't showing on the I wasn't able to get my iPad to show on the computer. Like the app I used to do it just wasn't playing ball, and I couldn't for the life of me work out why. And I was getting really, really stressed out. But I managed to fix it at the last minute, like the last possible minute. So that was an experience. Yeah, but we got there. We got there in the end. So let's start. Let's start with this crown, shall we? Let's ink in. Yeah, I remember to charge it. Yeah, good on me. You know, I actually did it when I spoke to you and said I was going to charge my iPad, which is like nothing short of a miracle, to be honest with you. Like, I kind of want this to be, let's, like, I kind of want this to bulge. That's going to help us sell the floofiness, right? What's this down here? Ooh, get out of here. Let's. Sure, we've got like a grassy. No, this isn't Photoshop. So that's gonna help sell. We're gonna do it the hard way, are we? Are we actually gonna have to do it the hard way? Oh no, what sword? This is the one. Sword rest. This'll do. This'll do nicely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Work smarter, not harder, people. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then let's create a clipping mask. And let's add some highlights. A little bit of these and a little bit of these. Probably be smaller though. Let's smaller. Right. Is that looking floofy? Do we think that's looking floofy? You know, is that satisfying people's desire for floofiness? And then we need like a bit of. That's too straight there. We need like a bit of like what's going on here, you know. And then we can just lighten this later. But like remember, light and shadow are twins. Yeah. Way smaller for that though. I think I should be on a new layer so that I can make this even more suital. Which I know what you're thinking. That doesn't look suital. It's suital. Trust me. It's going to be suital. We're going to suitalize it. Yeah. Add some shadow underneath there. Just some general shadow. Ah, yeah. For that. Boom. A little bit of opacity and we're golden. Look at that. Ooh. And then I think we should have one more layer that is very close to this. touch darker. And then, like, we're going to cheat big time with a cotton texture. Too big. Too big. Dark enough. Just we're adding stripes and unintentionally here. Oh, what have we done? Come on now. You could have told me I was on the wrong layer. Come on now. Behave yourselves. Did I make this layer and not use it? Of course it is. Fantastic. Let's add some. Let's just do what I just did, but all over again. That first one was a practice, right? First one was to practice. You want black spots. Ruby wants black spots. And when Ruby wants black spots, Ruby gets black spots. You know? But I don't think this should be. That is not the brush I want. Why is there so much like shape dynamics on this? That's not too bad actually, to be fair. You know the word, like, this is one of those things like really hard to draw. Try and draw random spots, man, that actually look random. Like, it's really hard, you know? Like, this now feels like really not random at all. That's a little bit. Okay, look. There we go. Black Spoots, what do we think? Ooh, what's this? Like an embarrassed anime dude. Ooh. Why don't we just oh, hang on. Get my, yeah. Ooh. This is the bit that like where like it's almost it was almost. Have you seen this, by the way? This is my Bulbasaur colour palette. The most important colour palette for any artiste. You're not an artiste if you don't have a Bulbasaur palette. I'm not an artiste. I'm being facetious. But you gotta love Bulbasaur. If we ever get another follower on the channel, the thing that tells you that someone's followed is now a Bulbasaur, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I'm actually on a new layer. Fantastic. Well done, Ross. I very much like this side of the face. The line was actually. Oh, who be that? That's way too small for me to see. But did Erafina unfollow then follow? Yeah, she did. A few seconds. Thank you very much, Erafina, for unfollowing me. I'm gonna hold that against you. That was mean. But also, thank you for making Bulbasaur a bit. For anyone who actually knows me, which is basically everyone that's watching right now, I love Bulbasaur with passion, and it only stands to reason that Bulbasaur should be my like follow thing. It's the same for if no try this, Serafina. If someone raids me with a pie, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that. I can replay a thing. This isn't actually true, but yeah, if my answer were to raid me right now, then you get the OG Bulbasaur. That one's restricted to content creators only, I'm afraid. let's put his head under the brow, shall we? Yeah. Oh, ooh, woo, yeah. Boom. You know what? Just Procreate props. I love Procreate so much, but when you're like a woo, woo indeed. I don't think anyone's used that one before, so congrats on finding that one. There was a big old grin on my face when I added that to the list of commands. What's a good? I totally missed that Hannah said that Erafina said that she was going to unfollow the unfollow. But thank you for displaying Bulbasaur. I really appreciate it because Bulbasaur is bae. We do love Bulbasaur. This skin tone's like, you know what? I kind of like this like slightly grey. Time's flying by, you know. I don't think we get more than one poster done, which is something that like was a slight concern of mine because drawing takes a lot longer than you think it does, you know. So let's right click and mask. What I actually should do is not do that and get this layer up here without clicking. So yeah, let's add some shape to this face, shall we? Yeah, make it leathery. Yeah. Yeah. He's seen some things, but his texture's awful. There's that one. Sorry, Braintree House. It's not an awful texture. It's awful for what I'm doing. Let's just clarify. Right. I'm not. I got these brushes with this. I can't show it to you, but I'm drawing on a Sketchboard Pro, and I got the brushes for like this texture's not. None of these textures are all. I got it for pre or like for back in the Kickstarter. That's the word I'm looking for. And the thing is great, and the brushes are also great, but they're very. Braintree House, I think, do a lot of like comic stuff, and it's like they're very like cartoony, comic-y textures, which isn't a bad thing, but it means they're not suited to what I'm doing. Not that what I'm doing is particularly good, to be honest, but I'm going to try and like use the correct textures. So his mouth is really high, so we're going to move it down, and then maybe his eyes won't look as like anime villain, right? If we move his mouth down, and we've got a little bit more space for his eyes. That does mean that I've got to like freehand this. Not that that's really an issue, but there we go. And then we're going to move his nose down. So I'm actually going to. Where is his face? Ding. There you go. And hopefully we can satiate Robbie B's like desire to not have it look like an anime villain, which is kind of a desire of mine as well, actually. Like. Oh yeah. This isn't going as badly as I thought it was going to do. I haven't done anything like this creative in ages. So, not artistic anyway. Like, don't draw often enough. So while I remember, I made a promise 2 streams ago that last stream I was going to set a date for drawing Sunnybrid, and I literally remembered. No word of a lie. I literally remembered. Sure, collectively we don't want that. I completely agree. I literally remembered, like, as soon as I'd clicked to end the stream, I remembered I was supposed to be like giving you a date for like a bonus map drawing stream, which is something I'm a lot more comfortable with, to be honest. Drawing a map is something that I could probably do in my sleep. Cashing checks for myself, God knows why. But I need to do that this stream, and I guess it's going to depend on when people might want to watch. I guess because there's not much point in me doing it. If no one can watch, then I might as well do it, like, and upload it as like a thingy. I like the shape of this nose. How maps and chill? How was Thursday night for you, Ruby? Because I can't do Wednesday basically. Because the night I wanted to do it was Wednesday, but I can't do Wednesday this week. So I could do Thursday. Because I had plans on Thursday to stream something else. No spoilers, but I'm sure Rob already knows, and I know Arafina knows as well. So there are no spoilers. Yeah, I was gonna stream something else, but if that's a good day for people, I'll stream the map thing there. And there's no real like, I don't think we're gonna be free Thursday night. Thursday night 6 p.m. I'll draw the map, and I don't think that we're gonna draw. From my personal experience of drawing maps, I don't think we're gonna finish the map for the record. So yeah, so there's no what. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream. Like I'll stream like an hour and a half or 2 hours, like of woo. I'll stream like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of drawing the map, and then I'll just finish it in my own time. And I might so Procreate does like a time lapse, so I can show you the time lapse of how I finished it, so you can sort of see it getting drawn still. Be nice, but it's more just to chill out, I suppose. Hopefully, like some of the other regulars are available on Thursday night, and they can hop in and like join us for a bit of a chat and a catch up. We can tell her what they missed this week, which is probably going to be nothing. I don't think I'm going to finish this map today, which is going to be like quite interesting. How do I deal with like being like I guess I have to I guess the plan is to finish it in my own time, I guess, and like the same thing I'm going to do with the Sunnybrid map, and I'll just kind of show you where we are with it, because life, you know, that's I'm remembering. So that image that's underneath, that's much better than this one is. I'm remembering how long it took me to draw that, and like I really shouldn't have committed to doing this as like detailed as I am doing it. But like I literally said that this should probably be like a hand drawn like thing from someone in town, and I've not stuck to that whatsoever. I should have drawn like a little stick man, you know. Oh, what a noob! What an absolute noob! You're going here, and you're supposed to be a clipping mask. Fantastic. And then we're gonna. I really should have, yeah. The janitor's needs naming can be called Dr. Janitor. You know me, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's blur this a little bit. Yeah, just a smidge. I've got really hard edges there and I don't like it. And then let's get like a nice deep red to shade it with, and then use our shades that we were using. Great, great, absolutely fantastic. Dr. Janitor, absolutely. You're gonna have to remind me though. Remind me when I'm when I'm vibing and I'm doing my end of stream shenanigans. You know, I'm talking about YouTube. I'm talking about what we're doing next week. All that stuff. You have to remind me that I've said yes because clearly I'll forget. I don't like this colour in general. I think it needs like it just needs like a layer of this. We've got a bit of texture as well, which is nice. Dr. Janitor. It's reminding me of Scrubs, you know. JD's always like talking about his play, Good Dr. Acula. Why is our king here? He's getting some real lips on him, isn't he? That should that be like a should that be like a single? I'm so bad at drawing people. Why did I agree to this? Because it's a good way to demonstrate that. Oh shit, sugar. I undid one too many. Go back. Yeah. Yeah. Now I can't get this to like feel right. That's probably as good as it's gonna get. Oh. That's way too big a lip. Why is this happening? Why does he look like a cartoon character? Why? He's getting kiss lips. What is going on? All right, we're it's awful. We're sticking with that there. We're sticking with that. We ain't got time to just needlessly undo and redo everything. What do we do? We need a layer of this in this. Just to add some texture and make the colour a bit deeper. Bit of that, and then on this one we're going to add some like proper shade, right? And then add like a real. We'll try and add like a real little bit there. Oh yeah, and a little bit there. Because that's how shadow works. Because we've decided that the light's coming in from the top left. This is not something. This isn't an art stream. We're not discussing that here today. I'm definitely not the person to teach you that. Boom. Boom. That isn't too bad. It's not awful. At least we're gonna Smoccacino for Kyle. Hello, sorry, I've been like focusing on drawing. Hello T. Kanan. Welcome. Pronounce Jan Ito. Or is about giant doctor. He is from Scrubs when the janitor is pretending he's a doctor. Lush lips. I'm so glad Tom's here to watch me drawing this horrible person. How are you doing anyway? Do you happen to follow the stream? Because if you don't, then please consider following the stream. It doesn't cost you a penny, but boy howdy does it make us happy here. And if you're not already following, then you'll get to see a Bulbasaur when you follow. Oh, he does follow. Damn. It's a shame, innit? Thank you for following, though. I'm only saying it's a shame because so I updated my... There used to be like a dice roll when you followed, but now there's a Bulbasaur, which makes me very happy. It's not strictly speaking relevant to what we're doing here, but it is a Bulbasaur, and I do love Bulbasaur, and that's really what matters, right? Because if you don't like Bulbasaur, you can get out, right? As they say. Let's get a little bit redder in here. Let's get a little bit more redness. An airbrush. Massive. Of course it's massive. What was the last thing I airbrushed? Jesus. Jeebus. Too much, he says. There we go. Alright, we're spending way too much time on this stuff. And then still really don't like how bright these lips are. You know? It's just too bright. It's just too lush lipped, is our king. Need to get rid of the Zulu lights now because it's distracting me from. Look here! Look, listen! I'm not getting into. Look here! Look, listen! As much as I love the guy, this isn't the. Look here! Look here! Look, listen! Oh, look at that! Whoa! All of a sudden, there's a nose. We're doing some things right here. We're doing some things right. As much as we're doing a lot of things wrong, we're doing some things right. Like, for starters, we shouldn't have been ambitious and decided we were going to draw a person. That was probably a terrible idea because there was no way we were going to get this done today. And it's going to be and it's created a massive job for me to do over there. Let's start that back. As much as it paps, I'm going up here. I'm sick of drawing face, If there's anything I want to draw, lovely bit of turn there. Thank you very much. Ban anyone who isn't following and making Bulbasaur appear. Yeah, you're the moderator, man. You're the victim of that story. Look here. Look, listen. I'm following and following does not make it stop. Yeah, if there's anything I'm going to draw to finish this off without people watching, it's probably going to be face. Because to be honest, let's just in the spirit of getting this closer to being finished, let's just use this, right? I've already ugh. Oh, that's because don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because this is visible still. I've already overcommitted to this, so let's try and make my own life a little bit easier, shall we? Procreate props, still why do this to me? I love Procreate and I also hate Procreate. It's like what I actually need to do is get a pen display so I can draw in Photoshop and Illustrator also. Because I'm at that stage in my life where I'm finally admitting that everything I learned in Photoshop, all the time I spent learning Photoshop over like the past 15 years, should have been spent learning Illustrator. You know, we all go through that realization. And I find myself like so often like drawing something in Procreate and then transferring it over and then like converting the lines to a path so that I can create like a really good vector of what I've drawn. And it's like if I had a pen display, I could just draw like I could have just drawn straight into Illustrator. Yeah, man, vectors for life. Yeah, man. Big old vectors. Get me all like nostalgic for not nostalgic. But... Oh yeah, look at that. Woo. That's decent. That's decent. That is decent manish. Why am I trying so hard on this? I don't understand why haven't you stopped me, Rob? You know, Toss for life. He's called Hector the Vector. Like, we decided this was going to be like a this is essentially supposed to be graffiti, right? Why have I done that as well? That was just. I'm trying to blame Rob, and it's totally not Rob's fault. I let myself feel the pressure of drawing for an audience, and I've only got my shelf to blame, you know. And now I'm gonna have to make a second one of these in my own time because, like, we could do 2 weeks running a drawing, and we're gonna learn from our mistakes next week. That'd be wholesome, wouldn't it? That'd be like a good it'd be like a good lesson to teach, right? That we came here with the intention of like making something quick and proving a point that like anyone can make handouts for their players. Very pro map and chill, so I probably wasn't going to rush it. Yeah, like, yeah, map and chill, man, map and chill. It's just a different medium, isn't it? Like drawing with an audience watching you, like, and I've kind of like allowed myself to take it way more seriously than I was supposed to at the start, like. Map and chill. And it's really awkward, like I'm supposed to be like hosting, right? And one more week. Yeah, man. I'm not going to do this though. I'm going to finish this like in my own time, I think. And I'm going to use it as an example, I think. I'm going to talk about how like it was a mistake. Like, I'm like, I've like allowed myself to take this more seriously than our like brief was like. I spent ages talking about how if you like drew something, if you like drew some stick men on a lined piece of paper, like in a bic, and like I said bic, all right, and gave it to your players, they'd appreciate it. So yeah, we'll do the raw, and like it's going to be real simple because that was kind of we were supposed to be keeping it simple, and I feel like I've let you down by not doing that because like. As much as this isn't even going to come out like anywhere near as well as I would like it to, right? It's still not like it's still not like a simple. It's still not been a simple endeavor, which was like the whole purpose was to create a simple thing. And now, like, we're in the spirit of zombie skin, rough skin. Nebula. Let's get concrete block. You say? I disagree. I think that's a gold. I think that's a poured gold texture. IMO. Find out. That's not. Yeah, that's way too big, but I'm liking it. Nope. Yeah, we can deal with that. Get. Yeah, let's go with that. Dial it down a little bit. Yeah, we got a crown. Hey, look at that. Good learning tool there, right? Yeah. I'm trying not to be super negative about it because I don't think what we're doing is like particularly bad. But like I had a specific mission at the start, and I've kind of like abandoned it entirely because like I've let my own ego, I guess, get in the way of like. So I opened this at the start. Where am I? Reports. I opened this at the start and was like, this is something I drew by hand a long time ago, and was like, I can use this as a, because Rob wanted like the whole Uncle Sam, your capital wants you kind of propaganda poster, and I drew this a long time ago for a politically charged reason, and it took a long time to draw, and I was like, oh, I can use that as like I can sort of use that as a guide. And I should have at that moment been like, why am I doing this? The intention wasn't to like make a masterpiece. The intention was to like draw something quick. And I should have just put the crown on. I should have just put the crown on Big Berger, to be honest. Right? And here's the thing. In fact, no, that doesn't. That makes also no sense because then it would look probably look a lot better than we wanted it to. I don't know. It's hard because 2 hours isn't like that long when we've got half an hour of just like chatting nonsense at the start. I might for this purpose like finish if I do like the face and then transpose that on the body of Bojo. And then next week we're going to do like a real simple like 2D like artwork or something. I don't know what yet, but have a think about next week, right? So we need hopefully TK will be joining us as well. We're going to do like this is like a loyalist poster, and we need one that's like a I don't know how familiar you are with the story. Could have cut a corner. Yeah, like it's difficult because I don't want to like. Maybe what I probably should have done is just like copied some artwork from something online and been like, because this is for like, because this is like the purpose of this is to like if this is for like personal use to run a D&D campaign, you absolutely should just take a picture of a king from a Magic card, which is something I promote a lot. Use Magic the Gathering cards because the IP's owned by Wizards, so like a lot of the stuff is like very similar. There's actually, for those of you who don't know, there's a Magic the Gathering set coming out in like a couple of sets time that's set in the Forgotten Realms. There's like a D&D Magic the Gathering set coming out. So like all of the like Minsk and Boo and stuff, like all the characters, Drizzt, you should be able to get like a D&D a Magic the Gathering card of those characters. which will be like really cool, and it'll be very helpful for our purposes because I've mentioned before how like Magic the Gathering cards are really good for creating like yes way. They're doing a Warhammer 40k one as well, which I'm less stoked about as a player because guns and 40k shouldn't guns and 40k chalk and cheese. Guns and Magic the Gathering should never be like. I don't think. I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole, but how do you create stats that like you've got a glory bringer, right? A 5/5 dragon. How does a 5/5 red dragon stats compare to like a predator tank? It doesn't make any sense at all. I am stoked, but I like 40k as well, but I just don't. I don't want it in my Magic the Gathering cards. Don't like change. So, to my knowledge, this could be misinformation, but I'm fairly sure it's accurate. There was a set, like one of the earlier sets had a lot of humans with like rifles and stuff, like muskets and what have you, and people didn't really like it, and they sort of said at the time we're not going to do guns again because it's not, it doesn't fit in like the flavour of fantasy of Magic. And then like they have done guns again, but they haven't been like proper. They're like they did a set. They did a set with a lot of pirates in, and to my knowledge, I don't recall any of the pirates. They were like cannons, like galleons had cannons on them and stuff. Like there was definitely artwork of cannons, but like they didn't. I don't, to my knowledge, remember any pirates that had like a blunderbuss or anything. That 40k Dark Tide game, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. Like, I want my 40k to be over here and my Magic the Gathering to be over here. Crossing over like with D&D is great because it's all the same flavour in my opinion, and like the way Magic the Gathering stories set out, the way Magic the Gathering stories set out, like I could very well imagine that the Forgotten Realms is a plane, right, in the Magic the Gathering multiverse, right? I could see like one of the planeswalkers arriving in Waterdeep and being like, "What's going on here?" Right? That's just my opinion. Like, loads of people are going to be really excited about the 40k one, and that's great for them. IMO. I think what I'm going to do here, if it gives a minute, is we've got half an hour, right? And I think we've discussed that this potentially has been a mistake, which is great. What's going on here? Oh, do not do that. That was awful. Did you see that? Sorry, I'm just the way I've got this all laid out does not like. Right, let's move this here. Body should be a big bathrobe with frills. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just that. I'm going over to I'm going to get a picture of a Magic the Gathering card, and so we've spent an hour dicking around trying to draw a king from scratch, and what we're actually going to do is we're going to do it the way that we should have done it from the start. Have a look. I'm right now. I'm browsing Gatherer for a king, right? Oh yeah, there's a perfect one. Big Kenrith. Here we go. Right. A4. Oh god, 4K. We don't want a 4K. Let's make a 4K poster. A4. Insert. Cancel. Come on now. Talk amongst yourselves, you know. This is where, you know, when the teacher leaves, the class will learn. It's like, I'm trusting you guys to talk amongst yourselves. Sorry if I missed, but what's your setup? Heard you mention Pro Tools. Are you using a stylus too? Or, sorry, Procreate. I'm going to unplug this. We should be alright for the remainder of... so I'm using an iPad Pro, and this is a Sketchboard Pro. A lot of use of the word pro, and I'm not a pro. All the tools, right? All the gear and no idea. And I'm using obviously the pencil that comes with the iPad to draw. Procreate is great. There's a lot of things that I wish it did do, but to be fair, it's probably a decent, it's probably pretty good. There's just a few bugbears I have that come from using Photoshop, and there's things that I feel like it should do, but. The purpose of this sketchboard is to, and I'm gonna have to kind of move. The purpose of this sketchboard is to allow me to sit in a pose that's comfortable and isn't bad for my back. But then when I'm streaming, because of the camera and the light setup, I can't get the legs of the sketchboard where I need them to be. So then I end up having to hunch over anyway. But it's making me hunch over a lot less than I would do without it. So. So that's good, I guess. Right. Boom. Kenrith returns king. Right. New layer. Let's use red, because red's the quick mask color in Photoshop. Because we like Photoshop. And we're going to airbrush. Do not condone stealing art, right? But if you're making a handout for a D&D game, and you're going to hand it to your players, and you're not profiting from it in any way, go right ahead. All credit to Kieran Tanner, the original artist for this fine piece. Is a Magic the Gathering card from Throne of Eldraine, the set, and the Throne of Eldraine is Kenrith's throne, and I believe in the story, Kenrith has disappeared, and then his daughter and his son, Will and Rowan Kenrith, go looking for him, and the plane of Eldraine is it's fairy tale inspired. It's very I can't remember the names because I'm streaming. I've had this conversation with people where my IQ drops by 20 when I'm streaming because I'm focused on so many things. I can't remember what are the names. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Your European fairy tale, dark fairy tales, right? Well, I can't remember the names. This is driving me crazy. Brothers Grimm, very much so. Yes. I just heard someone shouting. I just heard Erafina shouting downstairs. I'm assuming she's got cats on her and can't but it's not Brothers Grimm. It's kind of, but not Brothers Grimm. Who am I thinking of? But yes, that's that kind of dark fairy tale. It's very much inspired by that, and it's a very interesting set. I love it. I didn't like the set gameplay wise because it introduced a lot of weird stuff that is still annoying in the game. Not that I've played Magic the Gathering in ages, actually. Just I've come to terms with the fact that it's a social thing for me. I like to play it in person. I've not really adapted to playing it online. Oh, did not mean to do that. Whew. I am on another layer. That would have been awful. That's the moment where you check your layers and you're just drawing over the artwork. I might try and put our crown on his head. They find him though, I believe, which is why this card's called Kenrith Returned, because they bring the dad back. I can't remember where he was. It's annoying me that Hannah's shouting downstairs because I think she knows. I think she knows what I was thinking of, and isn't going to tell me. She's going to tell me when I finish streaming, but it's going to be one of those things where I finish streaming. There's I couldn't remember the word journalistic last week. Just evaded me completely. It's like, it's so weird. You just sort of sit here like, I don't speak my mouth words very good. For anyone who hasn't streamed, which is probably everyone, to an actual to Twitch or anything. I know Robbie B streamed to our Adrian Bennett, the Borkinator. I know Rob streamed in Discord to friends and stuff, but like doing this and trying to think at the same time, I've got a lot of respect for the people who do it full time because it's like really demanding on you. It's really taxing on your. This is what I mean. Can't think of words. It's really taxing on your bandwidth. Doesn't leave a lot left over to think about stuff. What am I doing? I'm colouring him in. I'm not really explaining it because this isn't an art stream, right? What I'm doing is I'm what you would call in Photoshop a quick mask, but is a slow mask, I guess, because there isn't a quick mask functionality in this. But I'm now going to select everything that I've just drawn, and then on this layer, select. Can you do that on here? Is it going to let me? Okay, it's not going to let. So what I want to do is select and then cut from the layer below, but it's going to be a very slow mask because it's adding so many extra steps. Select, invert, clear, boom. Look at that. It's your boy Kenrith the King, right? Sick. Easy. We're supposed to be making this easy for our first time DMs, and that's what we're doing here. Cut out a Magic the Gathering card and stick it to a piece of paper. Not a problem. I don't think Bob Ross is appropriate because Bob Ross would have just drawn it himself and he'd have smashed it out in moments. Alpha lock, right? Fill it black. Yeah. Because do you know what? Do you know what people love? Is a drop shadow. Oh! Cheeky little drop shadow, look. Oh! Makes him look 3D. He's jumping right out the page at you. It's way too heavy though, but look at that. Oh! Oh! What have we got in here? Paper texture. Thank you very much. This is what I should have been doing from the start. Let's use assets I've already got. Oh, I'm going too fast for the iPad. This is another thing, Tom, because I know you're very interested in this. So like this image, this paper texture that I've just dropped in is probably like 4K. And when you paste it into a document, it'll like scale it. and you can't. There's just no way to like. I want to paste it in at full resolution, right? And then like yeah, and once something's like once something's out of bounds, it's gone forever, right? So if I try and move this now, it's gone. So there's like no way of like getting stuff like that across with like the only way you could do it is like this is the thing, right? There's always a way to get around the things the like little niggles in Procreate, but what I would have had to have done is like duplicate the texture to create a new document and then copy Kenrith over and then resize the whole canvas to be the like A4. It's really irritating. You say it bugs you to no end. It bugs me to no end. There you go. Oh, paper texture. Look at that. Oh. And then we're gonna. So it wasn't completely wasted time. We're gonna nip back here, right? And we're gonna. Let's have all this. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of little things that bug me, but like, there's people who use Procreate who've never used Photoshop and are like ungodly artists compared to me, right? People who are like absolutely phenomenal artists who've only ever used Procreate, and it's because they've never dealt with like what I'm used to, I guess. Like it's just a case of like being used to it, right? They're like. Yeah, like the things that they just because they're used to it being that way, like it's just not a problem at all. They just work around it. There you go, look. It wasn't a total waste of time. We kept our crown, look. And we're gonna do the same thing, look. Alpha lock. Little things. You get used to like doing this real quick. I say that, but I'm trying to talk at the same time and I can't turn alpha lock off. Not that an extensive use of drop shadow is something that I would normally condone, but you gotta love a drop shadow, ain't you? Like, so let's create a clipping mask because we only want this to be on his FOD, right? That's a little shadow for his FOD, and this one's for behind. So we're gonna do that with this, I think, as well. Just drop it back a bit. And then we're going to get... What I should have done when I was doing this earlier is I should have got like a softer brush. Right? I should have got a softer brush for his edges. And like, just like, this is... If you're in Photoshop, you'd feather the selection, right? But can't do that. So let's feather these edges a bit. Dial this up a little bit. Because I want to get rid of that background colour. It looks awful. And again, I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing here because, like, it's not essential. But there's some things that I'm gonna like. I'm gonna struggle to let go a little bit. This is where I'm hoping to learn as a person and grow as well, because like. This brush should be out. Because if I was doing this for my campaign, I probably would have started from scratch, and there's just really no need for it. Like, you can save yourself a lot of time by like being open to like cutting corners a bit and like. Like I don't think players would have looked at this and gone, dude, you can still see a bit of the green background on the king, right? It looks awful. At all. But like I think they probably would have looked at him and been like, oh, that's cool. Thanks for the handout. Right. So what is this saying, Rob? We want this to be like kind of this crown. Look at the crown on his head. I love it. Oh, fantastic. It's so good. It's 100% original artwork. There we go. Well, there we go. I think King Flareford needs you. Yeah. Add some text. Yeah, use the text as well. This has changed. Oh, this is so much better than it used to be. Have we got a... we must have a medieval font. We've got a Middle Earth one. Lovely stuff. Khmer. Khmer. For those of you in the chat who play Age of Empires, let your king protect you. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, this is not a man who needs anything from anyone, is it? He's sat there. He's on his he's on his throne. He's got a wonderful crown. You know. I don't have a good Tom. Installing fonts as well is an absolute nightmare. So like, I could go on DeFont right now and find a font to use, right, and that'd be fine. But it would literally take like 15 minutes to install it. But that's more an iPad problem than a Procreate problem. Like, I keep looking and it's not getting any better. I think we're just going to go with this Middle Earth one for now. Right, and what we says in. King Flareford. Why? Where? Keyboard. 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 There we go. Never witnessed that before, but that's not that's not selling it. I feel like we need to feel like don't worry, King Flareford isn't worrying. Yeah, like something like. What about how about this? Let me know what you think. I'm going to type it out for dramatic effect. Come on. What about that? Still the king. Still your king. Right? Because there'd be people who are like, let's get some magnetics. There'd be people out there who are like, talking about how the king's done, right? So be still your kin. What? So I want to. I don't know about, because I feel like the like the Senate, the pro Senate posters got to like toe the line of not being disrespectful, right? And like the whole balance of things is like based on like the fact that he technically is still the king, but they're in charge of stuff. So like, I think that's the sort of thing that like you might get this graffitied "Not My King" on it, right? Oh yeah, for I was going to say for Tom's benefit and for anyone else who may be watching this who is new, like the basic arc, basic like overarching, the central tension of the story is that this was a kingdom and the kingdom was like taken by force like hundreds of years ago, and everyone lives under like a human monarchy. But there's now a Senate, and the Senate has slowly taken over. But King Flairford here isn't really bothered because they've negotiated some manner of like the Senate are taking over power, but he's still like a very much the way things are in the UK, right? We have a monarchy, but like in reality, we have a government who control everything. We just have like a monarchy for the sake of having a monarchy, and he's sort of fading into that kind of role. And he's arrogant enough to think that he's still the boss because he lives in the capital where all of the like loyalists live, and everyone still respects him there. And he thinks that that's a representation of like the whole kingdom, but in reality, it's not. That was like the most concise thing I've ever said on this stream, so props to me. I'm not very good at summarizing. Like I get carried away and want to like explain the world. So like what I'm doing now is I'm explaining my own manner of explaining things. So I'm gonna stop. Somewhat relevant today. Yeah, yeah. Not intentional. You know, we've been doing this for 7 weeks, or 8 weeks if you include the first. Woo! Still the king. Still your king. Rasterize. Alpha lock. Layer. And then we're gonna turn off the alpha lock. And we're gonna chuck on a little Gaussian blood. And then we're gonna drop. Ooh. Well, oh, it's because I've turned all this on. Like, there are a lot of things that bother me about not having a keyboard, but that's not like, you know, that's not Procreate's fault. But like I don't use the tool bar very often on Photoshop. Like I select everything with hotkeys. And that's not me. I'm not something like flexing. I've used Photoshop for a long time. There aren't hotkeys because I'm using a pencil. That's just a fact of life. Whereas if I had like a pen display and was using Illustrator, I'd still be able to like nerd out on my keyboard. This has become like a Procreate, Procreate review, a Procreate review stream. You know, what are we missing off this poster? I think there should be like a little bit of an explanation. Right. What do we want? What do we want? I feel like there should be like another line of text at the bottom of it, like a. What's going on for the king, right? What does the king want out of his disloyal subjects, right? Something like it's like no one else has got anything. Something like remember to praise the your king. Sub day. Remember to praise your king this coming Sunday. Sunday. Right. What do we think? Yo, yo, yo. Remember to praise your king this coming Sunday. Remember to praise the sun. Right? This light is so bright this week. I need to, like, I don't really know what. Yeah, that's so much better. New streamer props, you know. So it's this, yeah, like this is we're going to talk about this extensively next week about how, like, we failed. Brit, this is your fault. Reign, judge, and beloved. Salutations. This is very basic, but like I kind of gets live, laugh, love, reign, judge, and beloved. I feel like adding like a speech bubble that says like, is that what we're going with? He reigneth, he loveth, he judgeth. Reign, judge, and be loved. This feels very Flairford, right? Because it's like it's just so like tacky and like horrible, and like it strikes me as the sort of thing that he would have signed off on this poster, right? And he'd have thought, oh yeah, the peasants will love that, right? Stop, just stop. The peasants love me, right? Someone will have come to him and said, we need to make sure that people don't forget that you're the king. And he's gonna be like, why would they forget that I'm the king? The people love me. I'm King Flairford. Woo! He says in Space Mountain, right? I look out the window and I see peons upon peons. They all love me. They cheer my name, you know, with the partridge voice. Woo! They cheer my name before they sleep. I hear them. They're like, Reich. You can hear them in the street. Reich. And they're actually screaming riot, right? Riot. And he's like, Reich. They love me, don't they? Yes. I sent them those posters with a picture of me looking fantastic in my throne. They'll love that. Very Alan Partridge. Yeah, he's like, if I ever get to run this campaign and I ever get to a point where a party meets the king, he is 100% getting the Partridge treatment. Which, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, no one in my campaign yet is, like, in the campaign I'm running, like my long running one. No character has been, no NPC has been given the Partridge treatment. And I don't know if that's because like I'm terrified. Like when an NPC has the partridge voice, that'll be a clear signal to my players that this is a character that needs to stick around, right? Because I can't just go giving it away. Fantastic. The trouble with partridge voice is it's hard to not give them partridge characteristics as well. And like you want the players to like him. A molten hot apple turnover. He's never been bested in single combat, and maybe that's why. Because he's like, it's like the throw in the sands trick, but he's always got a molten apple turnover in his pocket. It's hotter than the sun, Lynn. Oh my days! Has he got a wife? Have we written a wife in for Reich yet? Hello. Oh. Or should we keep true to It shouldn't be his wife. It should be his long-suffering assistant. Where have we got rectify? Effort. He's a womanizer, yeah, for sure. But he's got his long-suffering assistant, Lynn. Why am I not just control Fing? I'm not control Fing because I'm hugging this thing. It's going to make it difficult to. Rectify effort. The Four Horsemen. And then Lynn. Long-suffering assistant to long-suffering assistant to Lynn. It's hotter than the sun, Lynn. Oh, I've made this just that little bit too narrow. You can't see this anyway, can you? I'm just typing. I'm typing to no one. That's fantastic. But believe you me, it's in there. It's been added. Constantly annoyed. A manservant. Yes. Constantly annoyed manservant. Long-suffering manservant. Even better. His name's Leon. And Reich just calls him Len. And this character is basically Kith from Futurama, right? It's Leon, sir. That's what I said, Lynn. That's what I said, Lynn. Leon. Lynn. Hand me an apple turnover. Main trait is rolling his eyes, yeah, but never to his face because he'd catch one of these hands. Okay, Kip. Yeah, faux show. Right, we've come to like a natural. This poster is so plain, but it's fine. That's kind of like the point, right? We want to endorse the fact that like we don't need to. And it'd kind of be cool. I think if we ever printed this out, right, it'd be cool to literally just get like a permanent marker and like scribble over it like "not my king," right, or something, and like we could hand it to our players like that, and that'd be kind of cool. Or if we had if say we have 4 players, everyone gets one, but one of them's been graffitied, right? And they can all look at it and be like, "Hey, mine's got graffiti on it," and then that's kind of forcing the players to think about the fact that like not everyone has got the same opinion of like only one of them's been graffitied. And I feel like this poster in our setting would be ignored more than I don't think it would particularly cheese people off because I feel like the general consensus is like he's an idiot, and this poster kind of sells that in and it's perfect as it is. It doesn't need adjusting if you do it like the king. He's made an ass of himself. He doesn't need your help, right? So yeah, kind of want to hang around and chat. You know, I thoroughly enjoy spending my Sundays doing this. So thank you all for contributing to that. I guess I've got to sign off now, right? The part we've got to say bye. Has anyone got anything they want to talk about before we go? I guess is a nice pleasant way to end it. And while you decide if that's the case, I'm going to sort of do my thing, right? Head over to, if you don't know what's going on, if this is your first time and you don't know what's going on, head over to YouTube. Yeah, you should be able to find us by just searching for Roostlers on YouTube, and you'll find the entire back catalogue of these streams. You can watch them from the beginning if you so desire. We've had great fun. If you want to know what's going on with the world that we're building, then find this document. This Google Doc is always available for you to look at, and it's got all of the information from all the information that we've accumulated over the weeks on it. Remember that you can name anything that's blue is sans a name. So if you've got any cool ideas for something's name, then whether it be a place or a person or a god even, come here, come back and let us know, and we'll add it to the document. Let you put your own stamp on our little world that we're building. We're here every week, Sunday, 6 p.m. British time, which at the moment is BST. I realise I always say GMT, and that's not strictly correct. We stream at UK time, 6 p.m. on Sundays, which at the moment is GMT +1 because of farmers. Yeah, so we'll be here next week, 6 p.m. And we're also this week, if you're interested, if you've watched me waste time drawing this week and are interested in more of that, we're doing a bonus stream this week, Thursday night at 6 p.m. again. And it's going to be like more of a hangout. Although we're kind of very hangouty anyway. Look at this informal pose I'm doing, you know. That's more of what you can expect on Thursday. So we've got a basic outline of what our starting town Sunnybrid looks like somewhere in here. There we go. This scribbled mess, Maps and Chill. Oh my god, he's like one of us. He's got his arms up on the Sketchboard Pro like us. Yeah, so we've got this basic sketch of what we want our town to look like, and this looks very messy. It's actually two of the same sketch side by side, but one of them's got like NPC and plot information on it. And we're going to sit and draw a map to include in our player handouts for session 0. And I'm going to do that on Thursday night at 6 p.m. And we're just going to sort of hang about and chat. I'm probably not going to get it done because drawing maps is something I like to spend a lot of time doing. So I won't expect that to be finished. But you'll get to see like a lot of the process, and you know, we'll have a bit of fun. Robbie B's going to be here, so what more motivation do I need to give you to turn up than the fact that Robbie B's here? And then the following Sunday, time permitting, if I finish the map, you'll get to see the full thing. If not, it'll be like the following week. So that's that really. Next week, as I've said earlier, we'll be drawing another poster because we spent ages on this one. So we're going to do a separatist poster that's been handed out by the Senate. It's going to be very much more informational and letting people know what to expect with the takeover of the town. So that should be fun. And we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it simple, stupid. And we're probably gonna have a little discussion about what maybe we did wrong this week, because I didn't tackle it the way that I intended to tackle it. That's a learning experience. There's absolutely no way that in 2 hours I was going to draw a character from scratch and finish a poster. So we're gonna intend to rectify that next week and do it. We're gonna make one reals fast that's gonna look okay and is gonna be fine for the tabletop use. So I'm really excited about that. And that's it really. I think that's everything. Have I forgotten anything? The only thing I asked you to remind me was that I had to set a date for Maps and Chill, and we're going to Maps and Chill Thursday night. So that's everything. If you are new to the channel, please consider giving us a follow. It means a great deal, you know, and it costs you nothing. So head on over and press on that little follow button. I don't even know what it looks like, so I can't do that like ding the bell thing that people do on YouTube's. Yeah, that's it. No one's got any last minute topics, so I guess that's it for this week. I want to say thank you to everyone in chat because, you know, you're the real MVPs. Yeah. Ooh, what's this? It's a great chat. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. See you next time. Yeah. What a way to sign out. Robbie B will see you next time. So thank you all again, and I'll see you next week.